Good afternoon. At the end of my last video, I told you that I would probably have another video out soon that was maybe as controversial as the whole religious belief thing and whatever. This is not it. This is kind of an update about other things that I think is encouraging, exciting, and I think will pump you up for your day or whatever you got going the rest of the week. We all got decisions to make, right? We all have things that have to be called. Sometimes you just have to make a decision. I saw a thing on Facebook the other day that said not to fault other people for the position they're in because of the decisions they've made, because we don't know the choices that they had in those decisions. And that's true. I know I've made the best decisions I could given my circumstance, given the different things that I could do. Now, the initial thing that sometimes gets us in those positions where we have to make a decision, that's on us. I mean, nobody told me to marry my ex-wife, right? But I also didn't know what type of person she was. I didn't know what she was capable of. I had no idea anybody could be capable of those things. But that said, I still take responsibility for those things. All of that said, I was thinking about a good friend of mine that committed suicide not long ago. He let things get to him, had a good life, beautiful kids, one of those people that was just effervescent, happy. I've talked about him before. Just a wonderful, wonderful person. I think about him all the time. And I think to myself, if he could have just been a little patient with his emotion, with his feelings, with that depression that a person goes through, with that pain, and believe me, I have felt that pain. I felt that depression. When I love extremely hard. And so when I have to let go, it is very, very hard for me. I remember when my grandmother died. I was reasonably okay till we had to put the casket in the hearse, and the finality of it just hit me like a ton of bricks. So it was tough. What am I trying to tell you here? Well, this friend of mine didn't want to wait. He couldn't wait for whatever reason, and he did himself in. He took his own life. He lost out. Where there is life, there is hope, there's opportunity, there's chance. When we no longer have life, there's no more hope, there's no more opportunity, there's no more chances. Anyway, that friend of mine that I told you came to live with me a while back, the alcoholic, he had quit drinking, he was doing well, he decided to go back to Nebraska, which was a little spooky because he was changing his environment again. And not that the environment there was bad or anything, but sometimes when you go back to where you were that was not a good place for you, it's not a good thing because you go back to doing the things you were doing when you were there. And that's what he did. Anyway, he gets a hold of me, and the person he was living with kind of got fed up with this stuff and said, look, you got to get out. And he says, hey, dude, I need to come back home. I need to come back to Texas. And he didn't like it here. He really didn't. There was so many things he didn't like. But there was more opportunity here, and he had a safe zone here. He knew he was safe with me. He knew that I would support him and back him up no matter what, and that even though he'd gotten off the wagon, I would help him get back on. But I told him, I said, you know what, I'll take you back here. You come back, whatever, but I would like for you to quit drinking before you get here. Not that he's a bad drunk. He's not at all, really. He's just not responsible like he should be, and he's just a different person. Anyway, he said, well, I'll try. I said, and one other thing that I want you to do, I said, I want you to try and get a job over there. I don't care if it's working at McDonald's or Burger King or whatever. Humble yourself, go get something. I don't care what it is. I said, because if you don't, then you're not showing me that you're really trying. You're just going to come here basically, and we're going to go back to square one, and you're going to be digging holes with me. You're going to be digging holes for fences, and you're not going to be doing what you're capable of. And you want to live there. That's where your family's from. That's what you want to do. I want you to give it a shot. He says, all right, I'll see what I can do. Okay, a few days pass, he calls me up, and he says, well, this company offered me a job, but it's in another state, and I said, well, what'd you tell him? But it's doing what he's been doing for almost 30 years and what he's really good at. And he says, I don't know. I told him it depends on my sign-on bonus, my moving expenses, those type of things. I said, whoa, wait a minute, dude. Beggars can't necessarily be choosers. I mean, you don't have a place to live. You hardly have any clothes over there. You have nothing. These people are willing to take a chance. Take it. Okay, I could understand why he felt like he did, because he took a chance with another company about a month and a half ago, and he lost his shorts. They made him pay for all his own expenses and everything. So he didn't want to do that again. And I said, well, let me know what you hear back from the guy. So they tell him, we want you. We'll do whatever it takes. So they flew him to his destination, to the store that they wanted him at. They got him a rental car for 2 weeks. They got him housing for 2 weeks. They gave him half of his sign-on bonus, which was a pretty nice chunk of change. They bought him some clothes, and his first day he made nearly a G, and his second day, same thing already. I mean, look how quick things changed. And I told him, I said, man, dude, think about what's happened to you. Think about that. Think about it. You had nothing. You're going to come back here and struggle with me doing something that you don't want to do, something that kills you physically. And all you had to do was take that leap of faith. And look what's happened to you. He's going to have a car here, I mean, very soon, or some type of vehicle, because he's going to have plenty of money to buy it. He's going to be able to get caught up on his bills. He's going to be able to help his family like he wanted to do and get caught up with there. But if he would have come here, if he would have taken that chance, if he wouldn't have took that gamble, if he wouldn't have believed that there's more to life than playing it safe, than just going in a hole or getting depressed and drinking yourself to death, he wouldn't be where he's at. And by the way, he's quit drinking again. He sounds good. And the week before, or 2 weeks ago, I guess, when he called me, he said he was drinking so much he hadn't eaten in like a week or 2 weeks or something crazy. He said that he's lost a lot of weight and he looks like a skin and bone, like a skeleton. And I was like, oh my God, all I could think of is this is the beginning of the end. People start looking like that, they start feeling like that, they die. They've given up. And I was really worried about him. But he made that one turn, as Bugs Bunny used to say, that one turn at Albuquerque. And look how things turned out for him. Look how things changed. And it made me reflect on that friend of mine that took his life. If he would have just been patient, things would have passed. The person that was hurting him in his life would have been gone. He would have had somebody new or whatever. He would have moved on. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that. Sometimes it feels like whatever pain you're going through is going to last forever. And you feel like you're the only one that's going through it. And you feel like the things that are happening to you are so unique and so different that you just can't get out of them. And sometimes people will reinforce those things. I've had people tell me, "God, you got to have the worst luck of anybody I know." You know what? Maybe I do have the worst luck of anybody that they know. But that doesn't help me any. Telling me that does nothing for me. So you got to be careful what you say to other people. I'm not saying it bothers me that anybody says that, because it really doesn't. I just keep going. I don't care. I'm not stopping. God gave me a life, and as long as there's air in my lungs, I'm going to keep living it, and I'm not going to let anybody take it from me. And one thing you got to tell yourself too, or you got to ask yourself, and I do this with myself every day. If they made a book on my life, would anybody want to read it? Yeah, I think they would. I think they'd be turning the pages like, holy shit, this can't possibly have happened to this dude. How did he overcome it? How did he get through this? So life isn't always about perfection. It's not always about everything going our way. In fact, it could be a ton of things that don't go your way for a long time. But as long as you stay in the game, you're going to hit that pocket of prosperity. I used to have a sales manager that used to tell us that, and I used to tell my salespeople that. You're going to hit that pocket of prosperity. You're going to door 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 and hit nothing. And just when you're about to give up, you get that one door, bang, and you pop a sale. And then it might be even 2 or 3 in a row after that. But if you give up, what do you get? Nothing. It's a little bit of a numbers game. And life can be that way. You have to take the chance. You have to put yourself out there. If you don't, what do you get? What's the alternative? If my friend would have stayed drinking, if he would have come over here, I don't know, maybe things would have been okay coming over here, but if he would have stayed where he was at and continued to drink like he was, I have no question in a couple weeks he would have been done. Done. Gone. Like off the earth. Like not here anymore. But guess what? He's still a contributing member to society. And he's the same guy that I've always known all these years. He's a good person. And you just watch the mark he leaves. as long as he keeps doing what he's doing and he doesn't give up and he doesn't feel like it's the end of the world. And believe me, we talked about everything. He expressed to me how he felt about his kids and how they wouldn't talk to him and how his ex-wife and all the things that happened with his family, and he just was in the toilet about it, and it's never going to get better, and you're wrong, and all the positive thinking in the world doesn't work, and blah blah blah. You know what? I'm not saying that everything's positive. You got to be positive all the time. Am I positive all the time? Heck no, not even close. But I try to always remember that, you know what? What's my alternative? I can be negative. I can say, well, you know what? Look where I'm at. I don't have anybody here. I'm in the middle of a giant state with no blood relation here except for my son. But you know what? I choose not to look at it that way. I have a tia here that's not my tia by blood. But my goodness, I love this woman to pieces. She's just such a special person. Invited me and my son to Thanksgiving this year. And does it every year. And Christmas and everything else. And they're just wonderful people. But you know what? What if I would have went in the toilet and I listened to everybody else and said, "Oh, you know what? I can't do this. Maybe I should go back home." When I go back home, the weather just depresses me to no end. I can't even tell you. At least here, the weather's good pretty much every day. I can go outside and work. Now, is it work that maybe everybody wants? No, nobody's going to throw their hand up and say, "I want to do what Joe does." Nobody's going to do that. But that's okay. I don't mind it. I like it. And you know what? You think about it, life is good. Life is really good. You have opportunities out there. Take those shots. Don't be afraid. What if you lose? So what? What if you lose? But what if you don't take that shot and it was the one? What if my buddy would have played it safe and said, "You know what? I'm just going to go to JR's house. I'm going to go to Joe's. I'm going to stay there for a while." Yeah, things might have worked out down the road, whatever. Who knows what would have happened? But man, he hit the jackpot doing what he did, taking the chance he took. And all he needed was a little push, a little encouragement in the right way. Can you encourage somebody that way? Can you give them that little bit of a push? Or are you the guy that tells them, "Man, you got the worst luck of anybody I know"? That doesn't help anybody. That does nothing. So be an encourager. And you know what? Take the chance when you have the opportunity. You don't want to you don't want to get to the end of your life and think, "Wow, if I would have done this and this and this and this and this." No, do those things. If you lose, what did you lose? If there's people that don't want to stay in your life because you took chances or because of whatever, then maybe they weren't meant to be in your life. Maybe they weren't. Think of the great minds that have been on this earth, that have been here, that have left their mark. They took chances. They did things that were unconventional, things that people didn't believe in. People look at Bill Gates. Look at Steve Jobs. The things that they believed in and they took a chance in. There's people that I know it would have been like, freaking computer, whatever. That's space age bullet BS that's never going to happen. Whatever. Man, we got cars that'll drive themselves now. So take the chance. Don't be afraid. And don't ever give up. Giving up is not an option. God gave you a gift. He gave you the air in your lungs. Take it and enjoy it. Take those chances. Do those things that are going to make you grow, that are going to be tough. And remember, when you go through the pain, it's only temporary. And it's no different than when you're working out. You get that muscle that aches and hurts, but you know what? You're tearing it inside. You're tearing it up, but it's making you healthy. It's making you stronger. It's making you bigger, badder, and better. So take the chances. Don't be afraid. And remember, nothing good is easy. Nothing easy is good. If it's worth having, it's worth working hard for. With that, have a super fantastic day. And remember, I will have a different video next time that may be a little more controversial, but I think it'll encourage you as well. And remember, I am on YouTube under capital J period, capital R period, Gonzalez. Take a look. I mean, I don't remember if I got senior on the end of it or not, but not too many people look at my stuff on YouTube anyway. But you can always find me here on Facebook. With that, have a super fantastic day, and I'll talk to you another day.